I want to welcome everybody to the Imperial County Insurance and Economic Recovery Resources Virtual Town Hall, hosted by Imperial County Supervisor Ray Castillo, and this is in conjunction with California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. Now, I want to do some quick housekeeping if I can. I want to give some directions to enable the Spanish interpretation. So I'm going to go ahead and speak in Spanish to give these instructions. Si necesita interpretación en español y está en su computadora portátil o de escritorio, busque el icono del globo en la parte inferior de la pantalla y presione interpretaciones, which is interpretations there, y luego seleccione español. Y si está en su teléfono, iPad o dispositivo similar, busque el menú de 3 puntos en la esquina superior derecha de la pantalla y presione en interpretación de idioma y luego seleccione español o Spanish como está indicado en el retrato allí. So I just want to remind everybody that we are recording. Audio, video, and chat will be monitored and also recorded. And this event is being streamed live on Facebook at Insurance CAGOV. Audio and video. By default, all participants should know they will be muted and their video disabled. Video will only be on for speakers only. At this time, I want to go ahead and go over the agenda quickly. The agenda, Imperial County Supervisor Ray Castillo will open with welcoming remarks, and then he will introduce our Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, and then Imperial County Supervisor will take over and moderate Q&A session with the Commissioner, and then we'll have closing remarks. At this time, I want to welcome, thank you, Supervisor Ray Castillo, for agreeing to host this, and thank you, and I want to introduce Supervisor Ray Castillo.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here. Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining Commissioner Lara and I this afternoon to learn about insurance resources that may be available to you and your family. I would also like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank our Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, for joining us and co-hosting this town hall with me. After a year and a half of living and working through this pandemic that has touched or affected one of us in some way, we are at a point where there is some hope on the horizon for an end to this pandemic with the administration of vaccines. We are here today to look towards the future and discuss recovery and how can the California Department of Insurance play a role in those and other related efforts. At this time, I would like to introduce to all of you California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara. Ricardo Lara is California's 8th elected insurance commissioner, and as leader of the California Department of Insurance, Commissioner Lara oversees the largest insurance market in the United States, largest with annual direct premiums of $340 billion. It's a lot of money. Since January, taken off since January 2019, he has acted to protect California consumers, fight climate change, and expand access to health care for all, while preserving a competitive insurance market. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he directed insurance companies to provide premium relief to drivers and businesses due to reduced risk of loss, resulting in premium refunds back to consumers and business owners totaling $1.7 billion and counting. His action was the first in the nation and has resulted in the highest amount returned to consumers so far. Commissioner Lara also directed health insurance companies to return premiums due to reduced use of health care services during the pandemic and pushed for zero health insurance patient cost sharing for COVID-19 testing and screening. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Commissioner Lara. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Supervisor Castillo, for the invitation to join you today and for your leadership during these difficult times. I always say, our local government leaders really bear the brunt of a lot of the work to get us out of this pandemic. And on the personal note, I know your district very well. I spent many years and months out there in Brole, El Centro, Imperial, and you have some amazing food, by the way. So thank you again for inviting me. Imperial County has been one of the hardest hit communities by the COVID-19 pandemic, really with so many frontline essential workers and our farm workers. Supervisor, I always say, finally, the country realized that our farm workers and our farmers are essential workers. They've always been essential workers to our economy. And now more than ever, that was clearly obvious as we were all staying home while some of our essential workers didn't have that privilege. And I know our residents and our workers have to prepare for these extreme heat waves that are only being made worse by climate change, like the one forecast that is coming up even this weekend, as I was doing my research and looking how hot it's going to be over there. I want to start off by sharing some resources to help you get back on your feet and also prepare for any type of future emergency. My priority in the pandemic, as you mentioned, Supervisor, was really how do we get money back to our consumers and businesses who are consumers of insurance, helping our small businesses to file insurance claims and combat fraud, protecting our healthcare for Californians. The last thing we wanted were people to lose their healthcare during a pandemic because they might have been laid off, and really continuing to respond to the wildfires and extreme heat we have been suffering and how people prepare to recover, which is becoming critically important as we combat, again, our changing climate. First and foremost, as you mentioned, I ordered premium refunds for drivers and businesses due to the undeniable effect that the pandemic had on accidents and liability. As you said, we're now closer to $2 billion in money given back in partial premiums to consumers because people were staying home and people were no longer paying for coverage that reflected their risk, which is what's based on your rates. So as people were staying home, there was less risk of you being on the road. So therefore, you were overpaying for your insurance premium. And so I hope everybody has gotten at least one of the premium refunds or credits through your insurance company. If you haven't, please call our office. We'll put the number on the chat so people can check it out, and we can help you if you haven't received anything or any credit so far on your driver's policy. And when I ordered the insurance companies to return money last April, I also ordered them to give me data. I wanted to be clear that the data that I wanted to know what percentage were they giving back in terms of the amount of profits they were making. And so it was clear through the data that the insurance companies didn't do nearly enough. My review showed that while auto insurance companies made massive returns to consumers, which is what they should have done, they also continued to overcharge drivers for their insurance. So keeping to my word and making sure folks could get some money back, you should be getting additional premium, partial premium refunds or credit or something to indicate that you should be paying less during that period. And so you're gonna hear me say this a lot, but you know that if you have any questions on your home, auto, business, or other insurance, please contact my department. We will put all that information on the chat. We have experts who can help you Monday through Friday. These are real people. This is not a recording. And we speak multiple languages in whatever you feel comfortable in speaking. And you can also go on our website, which will be posted, and you could do a live chat feature and ask us your question in English or Spanish, whatever language you feel, and we'll make sure we answer that as quickly as possible. We have so many people and families who have lost their healthcare due to the pandemic. I want to mention two important programs. While I was in the Senate, I authored the Health for All Kids Act that expanded full scope Medi-Cal access to low-income Californians, regardless of their immigration status. We have now, since then, added children up to 26 to protect our young working adults. Again, 26-year-olds, doesn't matter if you have documents or not, you have access to full scope care. And because our governor and the legislature and community advocates, we have just announced the expansion to older adults, 50 and older, those who have raised our their own families and now are struggling to find healthcare for themselves deserve the security of health coverage. So now if you're age 50 and above, you have access to full scope Medi-Cal regardless of your immigration status. Once the budget gets officially signed and the health piece gets approved as well. Now more than ever, it's critical that Californians have access to care, and that includes now our children, our young adults, and our older people. And the Medi-Cal enrollment for your Medi-Cal insurance is available year-round. And so again, if you have any questions, give us a call and we can answer your questions. You do not need, again, just a reminder, you do not need to have health insurance in order to get a COVID-19 vaccine. So if you haven't done so, please get that done immediately for your health and for the health of our entire family and to get us out of this pandemic once and for all. I also just want to quickly discuss earthquakes, which, as well as you know, greatly affect Imperial County. Living in California means we're living with the risk of an earthquake, which may strike at any moment. In the past 30 days, Imperial County has been shaken by more than 50 quakes of a magnitude 3.0 or above, including a swarm of earthquakes last month with the largest one hitting at 5.2 magnitude. You may not have felt all these little quakes, but you should absolutely be thinking about if you have the means, how do you get access to earthquake insurance coverage? Whether you own a home or you're renting, California Earthquake Authority's website is a great place to start looking to see what type of coverage you need and what kind of premium would be benefit you in your unique situation. So if you have not seen any information from the California Earthquake Authority, we'll put that information as well in the chat for you all as well. And insurance companies have made significant improvements to coverage, including lower premiums and deductibles, and they offer a menu of choices so that you can have a customized coverage to meet your needs. And so again, you should also know that there's a 15-day waiting period after an earthquake, meaning that if there's an earthquake and you purchase coverage the next day, you have to wait 15 days before the coverage kicks in. So better to be prepared, and it's never too late. Lastly, I want to just quickly warn you about and be on the lookout for fraud and scams. If you see any red flags of suspicious activity, please report it to the Department of Insurance. We have over 300 sworn investigators and enforcement personnel with 9 regional offices throughout the state ready to serve you, including our office in San Diego that serves Imperial County. We investigate organized scams and illegal actions by licensed insurance agents and brokers trying to defraud you or someone claiming to be legitimate when they're not. Right now, our communities are experiencing a tremendous loss, and it is imperative for you to be aware that all these types of scams that can really affect you and your loved ones and could be susceptible, especially for our seniors who are monolingual speaking and might not master English, tend to be the targets during this time. So I urge you to visit our website and you can find more information about fraud and scams. You can also find tools like the check license status, which looks at, don't just go by the insurance agent's card. You can see if they're legitimate, if they're fully licensed, so that you protect yourself again. So thank you again for inviting me, Supervisor. Look forward to answering any questions folks might have.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara, for all the wonderful work that you're doing for the entire state of California, especially communities like Imperial County. Of course, prior to today's event, we asked Imperial County residents to submit questions. And there are some I personally received myself over the years that I thought might be a good time to address at this time. And if you will allow me to ask these questions, Commissioner.
Absolutely.
So first of all, why did insurance companies pay for interruption during COVID? And what are the limitations of business interruption coverage?
That's a great question, one that we kept getting time and time again during the pandemic. And as you know, each policy is a legal contract between the business owner and the insurance companies. And since the pandemic hit in March of last year, we have seen thousands of lawsuits around the country, here including in California as well, about whether these policies cover losses due to COVID-19. We are watching these cases closely as they move through the courts, but I've been taking several steps to address business interruption. We learned that some insurance companies were denying business interruption claims without a thorough investigation, or even discouraging business owners from even filing a claim. And that is simply unacceptable. In response, I required insurance companies to comply with their contracts and California law by fairly investigating all business interruption claims caused by COVID-19, just as they would any disaster, by the way. So, my department will continue to be watching to make sure that they do this and ensure everyone is getting a fair claim. This includes, unreasonable delays in processing your claims already filed. So if you have doubts about your business interruption claims, contact our office. We can review your policy with you, make sure the insurance company maybe hasn't overlooked an important aspect of your contract. And we've been able to be successful in some of those claims and gotten some money back to businesses just by us simply looking at another portion of the contract that people might have not understood or might not knew existed. So if you have a pending insurance claim regarding business interruption, and if you want us to look at your claim to just make sure and triple check that you don't have maybe some inclusion or other exceptions, give us a call or visit our website.
Very well, thank you. I also heard that the state has a low-cost auto program. Can you share some information about that?
Yes, that's a great program we have. I'm glad you asked. More people now need to know that about our California low-cost auto insurance program. It's designed to provide people who qualify with limited insurance protection, limited liability insurance protection at a real affordable rate as a way to meet California's financial responsibility laws. The good news is that in 2015, again, while I was in the Senate, authored a law to ensure that even our newly licensed immigrant individuals could qualify for the California low-cost auto insurance. Those are our AB 60 licensed drivers. So in order to take advantage of the program, you need to have a valid California ID, a California driver's license, meet income eligibility guidelines, own a vehicle that's valued $25,000 or less, be at least 16, and have a good driving record. So in Imperial County, the rates can be as low as $263 a year, or a little over than $21 per month for coverage. So to learn more about that, I'll make sure staff puts the low-cost auto insurance program website, and feel free to look at that. That's a good program for so many of our families that are now struggling to make ends meet and may need to access this program so they can pay less for their automobile insurance.
Great, sounds great. Next question, how has COVID-19 affected workers' compensation, and what should businesses know about it?
Yeah, first, I think business owners need to know that all workers affected by COVID-19 on the job are eligible for workers' compensation benefits. That's important. And the workers should know that, by the way. And last year, Governor Newsom signed SB 1159, which expanded access to workers' compensation for our frontline workers. So employers should know, however, that you have a chance to prove that that illness was not work-related. So it gives opportunity for the employer to dispute that. In addition, I did emergency regulations to reduce the cost for businesses by allowing employers to reclassify an employee if the employee's duties have changed to, let's say, more of a clerical classification, or other classifications with lower risk of injury. Many people were staying home, and so, it allows you to reclassify so you can save some money. And I'm keeping a close eye on the cost to all the parties involved, the financial cost to the businesses that may be struggling to survive, the cost to the health and recovery of our workers, and the cost to the overall workers' compensation market. Business owners should know that workers' compensation also applies, again, I said, to our immigrant workers. Yeah, we're monitoring that, but we also, moved quickly to give business owners the flexibility to reclassify some of their employees and save them some money.
Great, great. And so you also mentioned it earlier about earthquake insurance. Is it required, and why is it so expensive?
Yeah, earthquake insurance is not required by California law, but I strongly encourage everyone, again, to consider earthquake insurance. In fact, well, I think when I was visiting Ridgecrest after the 7.1 earthquake in 2019, I remember people being surprised of actually how affordable earthquake insurance was, and actually wanted me to see if it was true. The California Earthquake Authority does offer insurance premium discounts, and yet earthquake insurance is one of the most underutilized tools for most business owners and consumers. All of California has a potential to experience a devastating earthquake within our lifetime, and we still face a lot of misconceptions from consumers about the cost of earthquake insurance. Often people mistakenly believe that their residential or the commercial policy already covers earthquake damage when it does not. And earthquake coverage is sold separately in California. So for business owners and consumers, we encourage you to at least have a discussion with your insurance agent. Take a look at the Earthquake Authority website and get a quote and look and see how that fits in terms of your budget. At least have an idea of what that's gonna cost. Well, I always like to say, government will be there immediately to save lives and protect our safety. But the reality is that without earthquake insurance, the cost of recovering could be devastating for businesses and for a family. So having earthquake insurance will enable repairs to start immediately and after the claim has been paid. So, depending again, understanding that so many families are struggling at this time, if you are fortunate to have the means to look at that, I would highly ask you to do so because it is something that we should keep in mind here in California.
Are there subsidies to help disadvantaged community like ours to acquire earthquake insurance?
Yeah, well, insurance companies continue to return the premiums that I talked to for our drivers. I'm concerned that they might not be returning enough premium to our businesses. That is why I directed insurance companies to give us detailed data for commercial insurance policies as they did for our auto insurance. And once I received this data, if determined that that our businesses were overcharged, I'm going to mandate premium returns just like I did with our auto insurance. Even if you are told your company is not issuing refunds, you can still ask your agent to re-rate your policy with current information. It's possible that the nature of your business changed, and so there's all different programs that we can do to help folks.
Okay. Next question: how does the climate and environment impact on insurance costs, and how can climate issues be assessed in insurance?
Yeah, again, another great question. Climate change is one of those biggest, I think, issues affecting our state, and one where insurance has to do more to help us prepare. A lot of people have coverage gaps for wildfires and flooding, meaning that they don't have enough money to rebuild after a disaster. And there's no insurance that covers extreme heat waves that we're experiencing, and that Imperial County is no stranger to. We have to change how insurance works from reacting to disaster to actually helping people prepare. This is why we're working with emergency experts and Governor Newsom's administration to create a list of actions for homeowners to protect themselves from wildfires. And if you do these things to protect your home and community, you should get an incentive, meaning you should get a discount for your insurance company, from your insurance company, like a discount agreement when you write a policy, or for being a good driver. I know that it's not a major issue for some of you living in Imperial County, but it is also a growing problem across our state, and the impact of air pollution from wildfires affects the entire state. So I want our insurance industry to work with our local leaders to help people stay safe during extreme heat waves. That means setting up cooling centers and getting people ready before they wind up in the emergency room, which, by the way, then increases the cost for healthcare insurance for folks. And so, like my mom says in Spanish, vale más prevenir que lamentar. I'm proud to say that one of the first things I did when I took office as insurance commissioner is really create the Climate and Sustainability Office. And climate risk is a challenge for the insurance sector, and we have to find opportunities to reduce those risks for the next disaster and before the next disaster strikes, I should say.
Yeah. Now, another question. Let's say I've reopened my business and I'm trying to make sure to follow all the local health rules, but I'm worried about my liability. Is there something I should do to make sure I'm protected?
Yeah, I understand the burdens being placed on businesses, and I'm sure you heard it as well, Supervisor, as a local elected official, in their attempt to reopening while keeping their employees and workers safe. It's not a lot. It is a lot to deal with, I should say, and it's not an underestimation to say that lives are at stake here. And so, insurance against lawsuits are partially part of the liability portion of your commercial policy. As you are continuing to reopen, the Department of Insurance is going to be watching closely to make sure that insurance companies are giving you as much flexibility as possible as a business owner, and that they are fully abiding by their contract. This is another perfect opportunity, I would say, as businesses are rejiggering and kind of modifying to this new reality that we're living in, to have a conversation with your agent or your insurance company to get guidance regarding how to safely return to business, and also to make sure that you have the right coverage in place and understand what exemptions are in your policy. I often tell people to ask what you're covered for, and most importantly, what you're not covered for. An insurance agent is going to tell you, te va a cantar bien bonito, and is going to tell you, this is all what you're covered for. I want you to stop them and tell them exactly what am I not covered for in this policy. Let's start with that. So then you understand the financial agreement you're entering with the insurance company. So businesses, I think, should also follow the governor's resiliency roadmap, as well as local guidelines for what processes the businesses must follow. And I know it's confusing because we were getting these calls too. It's like, do I follow the county? Do I follow the city? Do I follow the state? And so I think what I would say, more importantly, on the insurance end, is have that conversation with your insurance agent. Who knows, maybe with all the protections that you put in place, you've actually brought the risk down, which should also be reflected in the premium that you're paying. So, again, it doesn't hurt to have a conversation with your agent. I often hear supervisors so many times, including my parents, I just make my payment and I've had the same company for 30 years. I'm like, no, make yourself competitive. There's so many insurance companies fighting for your business. Let them know that you're going to be shopping around. Let them know that you're going to look and see what the market has, and I bet you they'll come back with a better rate. So it's always just a good rule. Keep them on their toes.
Great. Well, thank you very much for answering all my questions. This has been a very informative conversation, and I truly hope that California Imperial County residents take advantage of the information, resources, and programs that you just shared with us. And now it's time to come to a close, but before doing so, are there any closing comments you would like to make, Commissioner?
Thank you again, Supervisor Castillo, for having me today. I just want to thank everyone who joined us and who submitted questions. I just want to remind you that if you're facing any insurance-related issue, our department is here to help. And I often say, look, I know insurance, talking insurance is complicated. Nobody wants to talk about their insurance, but we are the state's largest consumer protection agency, and we're here to be on your side. Our website has great resources for you, and you can also just give us a call if you don't want to go online. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you to contact us. And so, look, I'm always learning about insurance. I know we're not experts, but we have a department full of experts and consumer advocates that can help navigate through the complex world of insurance for you. So this is what we're here for, and this is my job. So thank you again.
Thank you. Again, I want to thank you, Commissioner Lara, for taking the time to share all of this great information with us. And I would like to thank you and your wonderful staff for helping to organize this event. and providing this opportunity to my community. And lastly, I want to thank all of the individuals who joined us today. God bless and have a good day.
Thank you. We'll see ya.